Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls and gays.
From gutters to gay bars and everywhere in between.
Here to finish off your Tuesday, it's your three besties, two brunettes and a gay.
Welcome back, everyone. It is your favourite two brunettes and a gay, Deanna.
Celeste.
And your favourite gay, Aaron.
We got it right this week.
Oh, yay. Finally. About time.
What was that? Did you just have a little, aneurysm?
I don't know. I don't know what to call that.
I don't know. That's just how he's feeling this Tuesday, everyone.
He's out of it.
Look, we are at the end of the Adelaide Fringe. It is behind us now. After 5 weeks of shows about the Adelaide Fringe, we can take a breath. We saw a lot of shows in the last week, didn't we, team?
We did. We saw a lot of shows in the last week. It was great, though. I really loved it.
It was, it was the most shows I've seen, I think, at a Fringe Festival. But I have to say, as much as I loved every minute of it, I'm so glad to just chill and take a step back.
It's been 2 days. Calm down.
No, you calm down.
Right. Well, anyway, our final show reviews.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bomb. Go.
All right. Well, who's going first? I'll go first.
Go first.
You want my best or my worst?
Whatever.
Or maybe they both were the same.
Surprise us.
Okay. Well, you know what? Look, there's no use in putting this off any longer. We're all going to have the same favourite.
Yeah.
The one and only. We talked about it on the show last week.
Amos Gill.
He was fantastic.
Yep, that was it. Yep, good on you, Amos.
The one and only David Heath, who featured on our show last week as our Fringe finale interview. We headed to his show Saturday night, the Credence Revival at the Regal Theatre, and it was brilliant. And, just to show my support...
Oh, she's got her Credence
I've got my
t-shirt.
Credence T-shirt.
Yeah.
She's got her
Which was
Credence
thrown
t-shirt.
at me from the stage.
That's because you were just dancing so well.
I was going hard.
It's also because you had your top off, let's face it.
Yeah, and they were like, put another one on, put one
something
on.
But I'm wearing my cap too.
Yeah,
because,
maybe.
We're repping the Credence merch.
Oh, yes. Well, maybe sometime during the show, David could sign your merch.
Well, ultimately, I think David was my favourite because his cowbell and tambourine talents need its own show.
I agree.
He's a percussionista, ladies.
He's a percussionista.
I thought that it was a fabulous show. I also thought, I actually went to see a smaller show last week, which is, you know what, it was the best decision that I made. I hadn't been into the Bally for a while. The Bally is our old stomping ground. If you know,
One of our old homes.
really well, you might know the Bally.
If we haven't mentioned it 50 million times
If we
on
haven't,
the show already.
yeah, that's right. Well, went to see another show in the Bally, Coconuts. Brown on the outside, white on the inside was the name of the show.
A great tagline.
And they literally said in the show, we called it that so that we could get the Fringe funding, and it worked, which
great
was
tagline.
fantastic. You know what? Phenomenal show. Big, super round of applause to the Coconuts. I actually think they're South Australian act as well. Great show. Really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Yeah, we saw some great shows in this last week.
We did, but we finished it off with a bang.
Had to.
With the Credence Revival.
Brilliant show.
Moving right along.
And big news for the Fringe.
Big news for the Fringe. Drum roll.
We talked about it last week. We were wondering, had they hit? We knew that they hadn't quite hit, but they were close. The 1 million ticket sales. Did they? Aaron?
Bum, bum, bum. They did.
We really need to get some proper sound effects.
I know. I'm not that great, am I?
No.
1 million tickets sold, though. That put us on the map. Yeah, take that, Dictator Dan.
Well, they actually hit the million ticket mark at 10:01 p.m. on the final night.
Ooh, just in time.
But then they finished off with 1,916,000 being the total box office account. So I wonder how after 10 o'clock they sold another 900
Well,
tickets.
but that's interesting, yeah, because the final night is a Sunday, and usually shows don't go as late on Sunday as they do Friday, Saturday, but maybe because it was the final night they did.
Who knows?
Either way, they hit the 1 million. Who cares how they got there?
Congratulations, Adelaide Fringe, and congratulations, Adelaideans, for supporting the Adelaide Fringe as well.
It also says Adelaide Fringe saw more than 3 million in attendance across the 2023 season. That's fantastic.
That's huge.
Huge. Great way to finish off the Fringe season.
Reality TV episode is on my list. I have no idea what that is supposed to be.
We're so professional
it's
here
the
at Radio
theme
Italia Uno.
of our show tonight, Deanna.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah,
the theme of our show.
Can I just say that this is reality?
This is reality.
This is the sad reality.
This is the thing, folks.
This is not scripted. She just read it off our script.
I literally, it's funny. We put all this time and effort into preparing these shows to everyone listening, and then we get here, and then it's like your brain just stops working, and you can only follow what's in front of you. All of a sudden, you become a robot. But we do have a show all about reality TV, and we have some exciting guests coming for you this evening.
Big guests.
Super exciting.
Some big guests. Should we tell them who the big guests are?
Keep them, yeah. Oh, you want to keep them guessing?
I think we keep them guessing.
If you've been to our Instagram, you would already know who our big guests are on later in the show. And if you haven't been to our Instagram, head to Two Brunettes and a Gay on Instagram or Facebook, and you will find out who we've got on shortly.
Don't just head there, though. Like or follow us. I mean, if you're going to go to the effort of going to check out the page, you may as well chuck us a like or a follow.
Exactly. And like some posts while you're on there. We need some likes.
Yeah, get our engagement up.
Exactly.
And of course, make sure you listen to the podcast, uploaded every Friday, except last week it was a little bit late.
Yeah, a little bit late.
But just don't,
right.
we know, but it's usually every Friday. So head to the podcast on your favourite podcasting app if you haven't already. And of course, if you're listening to the podcast, listen live on the Radio Italia Uno Adelaide app every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Adelaide time. We would love to see you. But coming up after the break, we have Tuesday tea time for you, everybody's favourite. So stay tuned for that one after this song. Happy Tuesday, party people, and welcome back to Two Brunettes and a Gay. It's tea time.
It is tea time, and there's some tea this week with the Kardashians. Aaron, back on the sound effects. Glad to have you.
Sound effects.
Explosion.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Kardashians. Met Gala. You both just asked me a very interesting question when we were just talking in the ad break. What is the Met Gala? Which led me to have to Google it because I only know what it is just off the top of my head. I wouldn't know how to explain it. But for those of you listening at home, for those of you playing along at home, a little bit of an explanation on what the Met Gala is. It is a ball formerly called the Costume Institute Gala, and is an annual fundraising gala for the benefit of the Metropolitan Museum of Art and Costume Institute in New York City. It's held on the first Monday in every May annually, and the invite list is extremely difficult to get on, hence why Two Brunettes and a Gay are clearly on it every year.
Totally.
It's a very, very top-notch event. And the controversy surrounding this year is the big question that it's been put out there. The Kardashians are not on the guest list. And this will be the first time in, I've got to say, over a decade that at least one of the Kardashians haven't been invited.
Right, so none of the Kardashians are on the
Well,
guest list.
I believe right now it's speculation that they are not going to be on the guest list. And the reason being, and again, no one's come out and said anything around this. The Kardashians haven't spoken on it, neither has any representative from the Met Gala. Or have they, Aaron? You're looking at me.
Well, no, I was just thinking, I heard a strong rumour actually in the works that they're not going because all the laser clinics and surgeons went on strike.
Is that actually true?
Couldn't get their backs lasered in time.
Well, I actually heard the reason was because Vogue, it's put on by Vogue, no longer considers the Kardashians relevant to society or culture.
Oh, thank God. At least they recognise it now.
Oh, that's a tough one. So, you got to ask, number one, is it true? Or are they all going to pop up there? And number two, do you agree? Are the Kardashians no longer relevant?
I think it's so mean, right, that they just use celebrities when they're at their prime, and they're like, well, you're good enough for the guest list, so let's put you on there, let's use all the publicity we can get from having you there, and then when they're like, oh, you know what, we've got some little Twinkie who's hotter than you this year.
Can I just say,
you're out the door.
Do you know what the definition of Twinkie is?
What is it?
It was me in my 20s.
True.
But do you know the Met Gala theme this year? Do you know what it is?
What is it?
I looked it up. So the theme this year of the Met Gala is Karl Lagerfeld, a tribute. Now, Karl Lagerfeld, for you guys that don't know Karl Lagerfeld, obviously you dress very poorly.
Ouch.
For those of you who don't know Karl Lagerfeld, he's a very controversial fashion designer. He's made many anti-gay marriage, gay adoption, Me Too, fat-phobic comments. I'll give you a sign of one of the things he said. So basically, sweatpants are a sign of defeat. You've lost control of your life, so you bought some sweatpants.
Ooh.
So look,
Settle down, Carl.
I think, you know what, if I was invited to the Met, I'd actually wear sweatpants.
So is he going to be at the Met?
What, in a casket? He's dead. He's dead, Celeste.
Oh, Celeste.
Why did I not know that?
Carl.
And then David Bowie's going to sing Ashes to Ashes.
Okay, Carl will not be there if anyone was wondering. But okay, answer my question.
Yeah.
Kardashians, relevant or not relevant?
Not relevant.
Ooh.
They've never been relevant to me.
Oh, why? What have you got against them?
I just have everything against them.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
specific. Thanks
we
for
need
sharing.
a whole show to talk about this
Next
issue.
week. Show theme, the Kardashians.
Oh yeah, that's a debate and a half, that one.
You know, I'm not interested in the Kardashians as people, so to speak. I don't watch their show. Like, I know Celeste is as a fan. I'm not a fan of the show, but I respect them as business people because I think they took something that, like, lots of people have reality TV shows, but no one's taken an empire the way that they've, you know, taken it and turned it into what they have. So I think they're very relevant in terms of being an example of, I guess, what you can do with an opportunity.
They're also an example of how stupid society is for buying their products. I mean, you know, supply and demand, really, isn't it?
Really, as well. They put themselves out there on a level that I don't think is comparable with anybody else. They really have shown pretty much everything that's gone on in their life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I don't know. Are they still relevant? Look, they are getting older, but I don't think that they're not relevant anymore.
No,
I don't know. Maybe they just don't have the following that they used to. We'll have to wait and see if they actually formally get uninvited, not added to the guest list. I'm sure we're going to find out very soon. Next one, though, this one I found really interesting. Gwyneth Paltrow, she's in some hot water, literally, in some hot bone broth. Over her diet
delicious.
drama. I don't know if you guys heard this interview, but she did an interview in the last few days, and, you know, they asked her about her lifestyle and her diet and what she eats. You know, that's a
Standard stuff.
very common question these days in interviews. She faced some backlash for her answers. So for those of you that didn't hear it, I'm going to wrap it up real quickly. She said she intermittent fasts. She'll start eating about 12, and generally at 12, her lunch is something like bone broth or a soup.
Delicious.
Then she does a workout, an
Right.
infrared sauna, followed by an early dinner. And that's it.
That's it.
And she didn't think that would get her in hot
It
water
shocks
for
me that she
promoting
didn't realise.
a negative body image. Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah, like, I really, you know, being, I guess, a woman who's now in her 30s, and I have a reasonably healthy body image these days. Like, as a young girl, I was so impressionable with that stuff. And although I think everyone is entitled to do what they want and as they see fit, like, I really do, it's everybody's personal choice. It's a tough one when you're out there and you're a role model and you're kind of, I mean, I guess if she's being honest, like, we don't want her to lie, but on the same token, oof.
I think, to play devil's advocate, that interview also was with her doctor.
Was it really?
It was. So she was actually just outlining, I guess, what her doctor's, you know, suggestions and recommendations were. So technically, you know, she was going with what her medical advice was.
She said the diet that she was following was to support her detox, or to support a detox.
Okay, so is this a diet she's just currently doing, not an ongoing thing? Because, okay, if you're doing a week of detox, sure, it's okay.
I believe it's a little more ongoing than a week.
Okay.
But look, at the end of the day, the woman is in a position where she has a wellness brand, Goop.
Yes, of course.
She has a very big platform and influences people in that sphere daily.
Can I just remind people that Goop is also a website you can buy a candle that smells like a vagina.
So clearly you've been surfing the web, Aaron.
Go Google that one. Go Google that one. But all I do know about that diet is it ruined her marriage to Chris Martin, because she's known as the talented Mrs. Rip-Free now.
Oh, God.
I had to get that one in there.
Well done. Do you feel
I
better
love
now?
how you just write down these little jokes with your little pen on your piece of paper in front of you.
Yeah.
You just pull them out of
What's wrong with
nowhere.
that?
Well, I think the biggest news this week, though, is that the Real Housewives of Sydney is making a comeback.
I think that was actually the news about 2 weeks ago, but Aaron has insisted that we talk about it.
Oh my God, I'm still so excited about it because it's one of my favourite. I don't usually watch too many Real Housewives. The only ones
That is the biggest lie I've ever heard. You watch every season and every series, and Gina Liano is your idol.
Correct. I don't watch many versions of the Real Housewives. I watch the Melbourne Housewives and the Sydney Housewives. That's it. I don't watch any of the American stuff because it's way too fake. I know the Australian stuff's fake, but hey, the cool thing I like about the Australian stuff is you get to kind of like see these cool funky bars in Melbourne and Sydney and stuff that you think, oh, next time I go there I might try this out or whatever.
And it's also just so much funnier when they have Australian accents.
I know. It's not the same. It's not the same with the Australian accent.
It's so uncouth. I mean, the Sydney one actually got banned in America. They never showed it because it was so explosive and so full on. I loved every minute of it.
I've never watched the Sydney one. I used to watch the Melbourne one back in the day.
They only aired it once, I think, on Voxtel. I've still got it taped, sadly, and watch it every now and then. The Sydney one, it's so... You have to watch it. You'll die laughing. It's so inappropriate.
I want to ask, they're bringing it back. Is it the same cast? Or is it a new cast?
New cast. I think they're going to keep two of the previous cast members that didn't create a scene previously. But see...
Isn't the whole point of the show Real Housewives about creating scenes and explosive drama? Why did they shut the show down and get rid of all the cast that did that?
Well, let me show you the Sydney Housewives season and you'll see why.
Okay.
It's on another level on its own. But I mean they had some fabulous cast members, but it got me to thinking. So they always do. Oh, I know, I'm a dangerous thinker. That's what they call me, a dangerous thinker.
What did it get you to think, Aaron?
All right, I'm interested. Tell us what you thought.
So, what if they did a Real Housewives of Adelaide?
Is there any Real Housewives in Adelaide?
I remember there was talk of a Real Housewives of Adelaide. And maybe this was just people in Adelaide that made it up because they wanted to feel relevant. But I remember there was talks of a Real Housewives of Adelaide going back over a decade ago.
You could only send them to 2KW so many times.
That's what I was going to say. What would they do?
Yeah, that's true. Go down to Goolwa or something like that.
We're going to
see the dead carp down there.
We're going to Adelaide's fabulous
Barossa Valley.
Hungry Jack's on Rundle Mall. What are they?
Let's go to Spats.
Let's go Spats. They had a spat at Spats.
Spats is closed now, actually. What an institution. I'm diverting from the conversation here. So it got me to thinking, if they had a Real Housewives of Adelaide, who'd be on it and what'd be their tagline, right? And we also asked this question to a few friends and family while we were having discussions on the weekend when we actually had a break from each other. And so...
For once.
So the first one, okay, this was my suggestion. So Anne Wills, also known as Wilsey, I think her tagline would be, I carry the weight of the world on my earlobes.
So good.
If you're listening and you don't know, Adelaide celebrities... Maybe do a Google.
You're missing out. You've got some good ones. I've got some good ones.
The next one I had was Jane Doyle. I used to read the headlines. Now I make the headlines.
Love it.
I think that'd be awesome. Okay, this is my favourite, I think. Emily Seebohm, famous swimmer Emily Seebohm. You'll never censor this Seebohm.
Love it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'm a fan of the Dorinda one.
Oh yeah, do the Dorinda one.
Dorinda, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the Central Market.
That one's fantastic.
That's Dorinda Hafner. Go and check her out. She's very famous.
We put a challenge to you, Aaron.
Yes.
And we said, we want you to make up taglines for the three of us. Mm-hmm. And this is a complete... So Deanna and I know that you've made them up, but you haven't told us what they are. And so there's a lot of pressure on you right now to deliver
I'm worried.
These taglines that if the three of us were on the Real Housewives of Adelaide, what would we say?
Okay, so I'm going to start with Deanna.
Do it.
Oh, no.
I've actually written 3 for each, okay? And, just shoot out your best one.
You have too much time on your hands.
I do. So the first one is it's never too early to workshop your life or for quinoa. That's a reference to one of our little trips away.
I think people need context
for that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is another in-joke, though. When you're the boss, you don't have to worry about spelling. Deanna's the worst speller.
I am the worst speller.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And then this is my last one for Deanna. If you're not in my wheelhouse, get out of my voice house.
Voice House
like
is my
that
business
one.
for those of you listening at home.
That's great.
Okay, now Celeste,
do
are you ready
Celeste,
for
do
yours?
Celeste.
All right.
Okay, go.
I not only raise my argument, I raise my voice.
No.
She also raises the pitch of her voice, like
Yeah.
the frequency.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Here we go. I may not eat caviar, but my breakfast never comes from a bag.
Inside joke.
Inside joke. And then I think this is the final one that I'll do for you, Celeste. But it's, if Fabulation Station was a person, then she'd be called Celeste.
That is
Oh.
me to a T.
Okay, do you want to hear mine? I'm just going to
hear
finish off
yours.
this segment.
Yours
with mine.
is
Finish off
the
this.
best.
Okay, are you ready? I need the Real Housewives of Adelaide music here. Or a drum roll. Yeah,
Or a
that'll
drum roll.
help.
That's
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Unlike other fruits, I get better with age.
Boom!
Mic drop.
I still
There
think
it
mine for
is.
you is better, Aaron.
What is it?
What's that?
If Aaron was on The Real Housewives, this would be his tagline.
Yep.
I put the hoe in housewife.
Boom!
Mic drop.
Well, that has been quite some fun. We have a massive interview coming up for you after this ad break. So stay tuned for what's coming. We have someone from MAFS. I'm gonna let it leak right now. We have a star from MAFS. If you watch Married at First Sight, if you're a fan, stick around for this one because you're gonna want to hear our interview coming up with the one and only Anthony Cincotta. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting. We have a big interview for you all, and Aaron is fangirling.
I'm so fangirling, girls.
Tell everybody why you're fangirling,
I'm
Aaron.
super fangirling because, look, we have a very special guest coming up right now. Someone that I loved on the last season of Married at First Sight. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the incomparable groom, Mr. Anthony Cincotta, on the phone. Give him a round of applause.
Welcome, Anthony.
Incomparable, hey? I'll have to Google that. Is that Italian?
I don't even know if it's English.
It's anything you want it to be, Anthony.
It's the only Italian word Aaron knows.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Look, I'm just fangirling right now. I'm still
He's so
fangirling.
excited.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank-
I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. And I think the reason I'm fangirling, Anthony, is because this is a show that I know is quite polarising. And I know so many people actually say they don't watch it, but they secretly do. I'm just an out and proud MAFS fan, and I'm open about it. You know, I'll tell everyone that I watch it. And ultimately, last season was one of my favourite seasons of all. There's been some pretty explosive seasons, but last season was a huge season. And I'm super excited that you're on because it sort of takes a lot for me to connect to one of the characters on Married at First Sight, and I genuinely believe that you came across as one of the real authentic grooms on there.
It's weird because you say people don't admit to watching the show. Before we went on the show, I'd only ever watched one episode of MAFS, and I was actually watching it. This is a funny story. I was actually watching it with an ex-girlfriend of mine at the time. And there was an episode we were watching, and the groom left to hunt. He took off on the wedding night, and I thought, God, who the hell would do that? Why would you go on a show just to take off? Anyway, fast forward a few months later, me and this girl break up, and I'm walking out of my honeymoon. So,
Be careful.
I know. So this year, now that I've got the actual context, I've actually watched this year's religiously, but I'd never watched the show until I went on it.
Do you feel like you watch it with through a different lens now, having had the experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Like sometimes, everybody always goes on there and they complain about their edits or this isn't what happened or that's not what happened. Like there was a lot of things that happened with me and Celine that didn't make it to air, but at the same time, it's like it's a consistent thread. So I see it a different way than most other people. But, I think everybody loves the sensationalism about it. So, if they're talking to you and they say, oh, was it like this or was it like that, they're expecting you to fire up and say, no, it was all trash, that never happened, this is really what happened. When really, that is what happened. they just didn't show all of what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anthony, can you tell us how you actually ended up on the show? Is it quite an intensive audition process? Like, what is the process of actually getting on to MAFS?
So I was actually working the late shift at work one night with a friend of mine, and we thought it would be funny, so I started applying. I filled in one page. I mentioned that I was a pro wrestler, and and I virtually said all the stuff that I think they'd want to hear. And then I forgot about it. I didn't finish the audition process. I just left it, and they kept emailing me, and I just kept ignoring it. And then eventually they called me, directly called me and asked me, like, point blank, hey, do you want to be on this show? And I was like, oh, wow, okay, sure. Why not? I'm not doing anything else for the rest of the year.
Wow.
What's the commitment time?
Look, depends, because we had the lockdown year. So I was ripped out of Melbourne like a month before filming started, and I wasn't back in Melbourne again until about, it would have been early November, late October.
Okay, wow.
So with this cast, this season, because it's on a lockdown year, they're able to travel back and forth, and I think that was one of the biggest issues for me and Celine was the fact that we're both parents and neither one of us were able to see our kids. So, there's probably why a lot of our underlying tension came from on the show.
That's difficult.
Well, you and Celine did have, some great moments. Obviously, there was some very turbulent moments as well. Did you feel like the judges actually paired you correctly?
No, I don't think so, and I think Celine would say that too.
Right.
I think they both thought like we're both parents, and that's it.
Yep.
You two are both parents.
One connection, that's it.
Yeah, that's the connection. You're both parents. You seem like happy, bubbly people, and boom. But like, we come from a different sort of completely different background, completely different interests, completely different just lingo and vibe. But like, there's nothing wrong with her lingo, her vibe, and who she is as a person. And there's nothing wrong with who I am as a person. But we were just chalk and cheese. And
are you still friends with Celine?
Yeah, we still chat with her every now and then. Obviously, on the show it was it was like watching Gladiators at some point between the two of us, and we just go at it. But life's too short, and you got to have put it in perspective. We were both in a really, really tough situation, trying to do our best, and I still get messages about Celine asking was she really like that and all this horrible stuff, and it's like, no, I don't hold any grudges, and I hope that she doesn't either, and it's one of those things, like, we're both in a tough position. You've just kind of got to make the most out of it, and you see a lot of people in this cast this year are already in the media, and they're already on the front foot, this person said that person said this.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I feel it's a wasted emotion to sit there and sort of hold on to that sort of anger and animosity. The only person it's going to hurt is yourself.
Absolutely.
So let it go. Accept that it was a TV show. A lot of people had a lot of fun watching it, and that's basically all it is.
Yeah, and we're going to actually discuss this a little bit later in the show, which Anthony is going to stick around for. So stick around for that. But we also had you actually had some questions sent through on Instagram. Thank you, because Anthony so kindly put up that he was going to be on our show tonight and had some people write in with some questions that they would want to know from him. So we're going to pick a couple of those out. I thought this one was interesting. Did you get a budget allowance for clothes, or did you have to bring your own dinner party outfits, etc.?
You've got to, you don't get a budget. You don't get a budget at all. And you can't just say, this is what I'm wearing. You have to give them 3 different options.
Oh.
So by the end of it, I'd spent so much money on clothes I was never going to wear again. I eventually just started buying stuff from Kmart because I thought, stuff it, I don't care.
Can you wear the same thing over again, or no? Once you've worn it, they won't let you do it again?
Well, say if you got a white T-shirt, you have to put a scarf on or something like that. You have to mix and match. It's hard.
My God.
Yeah, it'd be harder for the girls because they wear such amazing dresses and they all look fantastic, and you can't wear the same dress twice. Whereas with the guys, you can sort of mix and match and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think I spent my last few dinner parties. They're like wearing stuff from Kmart because I was just sick of spending money on
Well, you
stuff
still
I
look
wasn't ever gonna
fabulous.
wear again.
Well, this is the
Oh,
thing.
thank you.
Reality
Thank
TV
you.
can get away with this, right? Whereas if you were on a proper show, like, well, a different type of show,
Proper
was that
show,
proper show? I
Gina.
guess they're probably. I know. Sorry, Aaron's going to kill me if I say that.
Aaron's got fire in his
Aaron's got
eyes.
fire going on. If you're on a different show,
Let's
there
have a
would be
maths fight
costume
right
budget.
now.
Yeah, Neighbours has a wardrobe, but MAFS doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's that.
I would have thought you had a budget. That shocks me that you don't. Okay, we've got another one. Thoughts on the Harrison and Bronte relationship?
From this season.
Oh, God, don't we all have those friends, like, where it's just that relationship where all they ever do is just bicker and argue, but they never leave each other.
Yeah.
And you can never tell one of them, like, hey, the other one's no good for you. They eventually one of them just wakes up and just leaves. We've all had those friends, right?
Yes,
Totally.
100%.
Yeah, it's not just me. I watch it. I was on the couch the other day with my partner, and we were watching it, and she kept telling me Bronte's going to write leave. She's going to write leave, and I said, she's writing stay.
Yeah.
There's no way she's not writing stay.
Yeah. I think I turned it off at that point.
Yeah.
Did you?
I just couldn't. You build so much investment into the show, I think, and then by this point, I think especially this season, and you mentioned this before, that all the leaked stories and things coming out now, you start to sort of see the other side of the picture, and you start to go, oh, well, okay, this is sort of manufactured, or this person wasn't being authentic, and you start sort of losing that engagement, I think, a little bit.
I don't have that engagement with Harrison. I've got to be honest with you.
I don't think anyone wants that engagement with Harrison.
No. I watch him and I listen to his things where he says this person said this. I don't buy a word of it. But then again, like, I can't feel too sorry for Bronte because she's had the option to walk out the door many times and she hasn't done it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the one that I feel the worst for this season's got to be Duncan and Alyssa.
Oh,
That's
me
been,
too.
Boy,
Well, after last night, I mean, what is it, one Wednesday a month?
did you know that she has a child?
I don't think she ever mentioned that on the show. I don't think she ever brought it up. Look, I told my husband if I got a whole pass, it'd be with Duncan. So yeah, Duncan, shout out if you're listening as well.
Well, that was actually a question that was sent through to Anthony. Do you think Duncan is the best-looking MAFS man yet?
And I said I felt personally attacked
did.
by that question because that question came from my partner. So
Good on her. I love it.
Yeah, she was looking at him going like, oh, this season's tall, dark and handsome, and he drives a motorbike. And I was like, oh, get out of here.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm sure she means from this season, not last season, right?
Yeah. But I think she's talking the whole span of MAFS. But he was brave. He did something the other day that made me just sort of like roll over in my grave a little bit. He has an insecure partner who's got some insecurities waiting for him back at home, and he was hanging out with a 26-year-old model who decided, let's take some rude photos of you to show this partner.
Oh, that's never a good idea.
Yeah, then he got upset when she didn't care for the photo, and I was sitting there watching it like, you're a grown man. How did you not see that coming?
Oh, God.
Well, I enjoyed the photo. Now, we've gotten to the point in the segment. Now, I'm going to put my John Aitken voice on. Here we go. So, hang on just a minute.
No, I'm going to have a PTSD flashback if you do that.
Because I feel like the girls and I are like the three quote-unquote experts here, the love experts. So, or as I
Or lack thereof.
Or as I affectionately call them, the peanut gallery. So, okay, Anthony, time has come.
Yep.
It's decision time. You're going to stay or leave?
Yep. I'm going to stay.
Yes.
Oh, good. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness he's
Because
going
we
to
wrote stay as well.
All right,
Oh,
stay
well,
tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We have more from Anthony after the break. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, we have the fabulous Anthony Cincotta from Married at First Sight on the line with us, and he's just answered some interesting questions for us, and we've got him staying on for a little segment we're doing called The Real Tea on reality TV, because this is about the real tea on reality TV, which begs the question, is reality TV even TV?
Right, so we have our thoughts on reality TV. Look, the three of us have dabbled in reality TV just a little bit, not much, just a little bit, but nothing in comparison to you, Anthony. So we wanted to get your thoughts on a few of these questions. First thing is, Married at First Sight. Is there any element of the show that is scripted, or is it all completely real? It all happens in real time?
It's not scripted, but it's like, you know, when you're in school and you don't really have a problem with somebody, but then like one of the other kids at school starts saying, "Oi, that person said something about you. What are you going to do about it?"
Yes.
That's what the producers do.
So is it kind of like you're fed things, or people are fed lines that provoke them to kind of have conversations or arguments?
Yeah, basically, they'll just keep... because if they just put you in a room together and everybody gets along, there's not a show. So the show needs drama. So they don't write the drama. They don't decide, hey, we're going to make this person hate that person. They'll put people in situations, and when somebody reacts to it, they'll sort of nudge them in that direction, and that's how it gets much bigger than what it is. I mean, like, a lot of those dinner parties, I'm not going to get in trouble for saying this, but, like, if the dinner party's boring, the producers come in and they tell you, this dinner party sucks, you're not leaving until we get what we want.
Wow.
Oh, so they keep you there.
Not hostage.
Somebody has to kick off, otherwise it's just... And I think it was my last dinner party, I was there and that happened, and then when we left, they dragged us all into the room and then they congratulated us for being raw and letting it all hang out. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there literally shaking.
Wow.
What?
I just felt like I just stormed the beach in Gallipoli or something like that, and I was just like shaking, and then she came in and said, "Thank you so much, that was a great episode, that's going to make great TV." And I was like, "Oh, to hell with this, I've got to get out of here."
Yeah.
Okay.
So to answer the question, it's not scripted. Nobody gives you anything to say.
Yeah.
But like you guys would know, there's production. So like before you do your show here, you talk about the production, like how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that. You've got a crowd, you've got an audience. How we're going to engage them? Well, let's push it in this direction and see where it goes.
Yeah, okay, 100%. At the end of the day, it's a TV show, and that's what they're there for.
Yeah, so there's no hard feelings. It's just a TV show.
Okay, so next question, editing. How big a role does clever editing actually play in what we see from what happens in real time while you guys are actually having the dinner parties or the conversations or your day-to-day life on the show?
I mean, it's more like... as far as editing goes, obviously, I think everybody out there would realise when you switch the light off to go to bed at night and they show that, you immediately switch the light back on so the production crew can leave.
Yeah. Because they're still in the... I've always wondered that. They're still in the room with you, and I'm like, do you just go... Like, do you go to sleep and they just, like, let themselves out?
They're like, I'm just going to stay and read a book. I'll leave soon.
How do you deal with intimacy week when you have to do those tasks? In front of the camera.
It'll be 3 a.m. in the morning, it'll be pitch black, and you'll hear a producer go, "Roll over."
I've heard that before, Anthony. But it wasn't a producer. So,
in my intimacy week, me and Celine didn't really have an intimacy week. I think it was, we had to hug and we had to look at each other for 3 minutes. And because we hadn't had any form of intimacy, poor Celine had to deal with me when we had to do the eye contact thing for 3 minutes. I just kept my eyes open and I looked at her for 3 minutes and I didn't realise, like, my eyes were really wide open. I was virtually like glaring at her and she's
staring her down.
Yeah, like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? And I'm like, no, it's intimacy. I'm looking at you. I'm connecting with you. And then, like, of course, my eyes dried out and I spent the last minute and a half, like, blinking like a raccoon, like,
Okay.
Yeah, everybody else's intimacy week was much more exciting than ours.
Okay, last question surrounding the show, right? Do you feel like on any level it is premeditated in that when they do the audition process and they kind of choose who they want on the show, they already know who they want to be their villains, they already know who they want to be their good guys? Do you feel like everyone already has a role before everything begins?
Yeah, so everybody, like, obviously when they're doing it, this is what I've been explained by a couple of producers from my season and from other seasons. Obviously they put everybody up on the board and they put them in their perceived role. So this person's perceived role, like, I was supposed to be that season's I don't know, Family Guy.
Peter
and
Griffin.
Flynn was I was going to say Dilf, but I didn't want to talk myself up.
Look, you wear that too. I'll give you that.
I think Aaron agrees with that statement. I think everybody agrees with that statement.
So you're saying the experts don't actually pick based on compatibility?
I don't think the experts do much.
Are the experts actually experts?
I feel like I'm going to make a confession here, Anthony. I only ever watched the first season of MAFS. I don't know how long ago that was, and I've never watched it since. So forgive me, but I'm not a TV person, period, really. But I do remember watching the first season and thinking it was really great, and I feel like in the very first season, it was actually paired up with compatibility, and there was some success out of it, and there wasn't a lot of drama, and it was quite nice, but then I think from there on in they went, oh, we've also got if this is a recipe for success, it's a recipe for disaster as well, and we've got a perfect formula here to create some really compelling television. So it sounds.
I had a really young cast as well on my year. When see, I was the second oldest there, and then Andrew Tex left, and then I was like the oldest one there. So that was because everybody was so young. And the bickering and the squabbling, I think that was by design. Like they wanted that young dynamic, because every other season everybody's been quite older, so they thought, bugger it, we'll go younger.
Yes.
But then again, like I look at my season, I look at the shit show that was my season, and I look at this season, and I see the same things happening over and over again. But I still feel this year's a little bit more unity between the cast than what I had on my season.
You've been amazing, Anthony, but we actually have to throw to the news soon. But before we do, we have something very exciting planned for you before we wrap up. Aaron has something very exciting planned for you.
He's been planning this for days.
He does.
Don't worry too much. No, it's a MAFS quiz, okay? So it's a quick fire rapid round. Are you up for that?
Yep.
I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay, so first one. Married at first bite. Favourite meal at the dinner party? Steak. They didn't serve you KFC? No. Number 2, married at first gaslight. Who do you think is the biggest gaslighter from any season?
It has to be Harrison.
Yep, agree there. Married at first light. Who was the biggest lightweight participant?
Oh, is it? Oh, Al.
He did too many shoeies, yeah. Okay, married at first stage fright. I hear the MAFS tower apartments are microscopic in size. Was there a bathroom etiquette especially for number 2s?
We had separate bathrooms, Celine and I. So.
Oh, that's handy. Married at first fright. What was the scariest thing about being on MAFS?
Jeez. First scariest thing. Probably the first boys' night. The first Bucks night. That was the scariest night I had.
And the last one. Okay, this one. Married at first prize fight. Which participant would Tommy Hellfire want to face in the ring? Ooh. Can be any season.
Steve Burley from season 7.
Oh, good choice.
He's big Steve Burley from season 7. He needs to be brought down a peg or two.
All right, there's the challenge for Steve Burley. Let's get him on next and challenge him.
I feel like we need to finish this segment with a ding, ding, ding. Oh, thank you so much, Anthony. You have just been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you on, and we hope to speak to you again sometime soon. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Anthony Cincotta from Married at First Sight, and now we have the news. Welcome back. Our next guest, very exciting. We've already had one amazing guest. We now have another incredible guest on the show. She is known to millions around the world as the Angel of Australia and named by ARIA as Australia's #1 classical crossover artist in 2022. Please welcome Australian-born soprano with a whopping 11 albums to her name, Mirusia, to the show. Welcome, Mirusia.
Oh, Deanna, Aaron, Celeste, it is so nice to be on your show. I can't believe I'm on your show.
Oh, well,
stop it.
Thank you.
We're just thrilled to have you.
That's like the biggest compliment we've ever had. Thank you.
I'm a blonde. Am I allowed to be on your show?
Absolutely. Look,
Anytime
Celeste
you
is
want.
actually currently still blonde.
I'm still blonde.
She's a liar.
Our name is a lie, Marusha. We say 2 brunettes and a gay. Deanna's just gone back brunette, and I've been blonde for 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And Aaron, are you still gay, though?
No, I'm the
Otherwise
brunette
it's a
now, so
total
Celeste is the
We've
gay now,
switched
so
roles.
we've
lie.
switched
Oh,
roles.
my God, I'm so sorry. Hey, I am so excited to come to Adelaide. I can't believe I'm coming back.
Well, that's what we were actually going to ask you. You've obviously got a fabulous show here at the Regal Theatre on Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 25th of March. Is this your first time in Adelaide?
No. I've been to Adelaide a number of times.
Okay.
But I think it's been about a year since I've been there, so it's so great to be back. And this recital is just going to be so exciting.
Tell us a little bit about the recital.
You were just talking about classical crossover, and I guess this recital is exactly what that is. It is a mix of classical music with some crossover music. So crossover meaning we're delving into some musical theatre, we're going into some of the songs that sound a bit classical but were written recently, and we're even going to listen to some operetta-style numbers and even some Burt Bacharach. So there's a whole mix of stuff, and even one of my own compositions.
Lovely. And what was the inspiration for the show?
Well, this particular recital is called From the Heart. So I think the fact that mixing that up with the fact that I was the highest selling classical crossover artist in Australia last year, I wanted to do something that reflected that and also touched on songs that mean a lot to people. So, for example, a piece like Pierre Jesu from Foray, which is a very classical piece of music. It is a piece of music that's used a lot at funerals. Another piece used at funerals a lot is the Ave Maria from Schubert, which I know because it's my biggest selling hit. I think it was streamed 57 million times already on Facebook, and it was voted the #1 played piece at funerals in Belgium.
Now that is a claim to fame.
Feat.
That is a claim to fame.
Wow. Yeah, breaking all the records at funerals, that's me.
Well, look, I mean, somebody's got to do it at the end of the day, Marusha.
57 million. That is incredible. We get excited if we get 57 downloads.
We haven't even reached that yet.
57 million is unbelievable. You're a very talented woman.
Now, your claim to fame, Marusha, obviously one of your many claims to fame, because there's so many to list here, is being one of the sopranos for the fabulous Andre Rieu. And now tell us a little bit about your journey and how you came to do what you do today.
Well, I always wanted to be a singer, and I actually started out in country music and failed spectacularly because my voice just does not suit country at all. And so I ended up discovering that my voice really lent itself to classical music and crossover and musical theatre. So that's what I started doing, and I discovered that people really liked it, and I was getting paid to do it, and I thought, well, hey, if I can make a career out of this, this is great. I love singing, and it's all I ever wanted to do since I was a child. And then in 2007, 2006 came along, I won the Dame Joan Sutherland Opera Award, and then in 2007, I had a phone call out of the blue from the great Andre Rieu, the maestro, and he invited me to come tour with him around the world and sing with him.
Wow.
And so I was his featured soloist for 10 years. And then basically I went back to Australia and I started with my solo career because Andre released an album of just my songs and said, you need to go out on your own before it's too late, before you get too old and your boobs hang too low. So that's what I've been doing. And so basically it's been just this wild ride where I have been balancing that between working with Andre and doing a solo career, but now my solo career has really taken, I guess, the lead, and I'm touring all the time. I'm doing different projects. This year sees me doing a lot of different projects, which is really fun. But as you mentioned before as well, I've already released 11 albums, and I love being a recording artist. I guess I got the recording bug working with Andre, because in my time with Andre, we released that many albums. I think over 20 million albums I feature on that were sold worldwide. So it is something that either you love it or you hate it to go into the studio. You know how some artists don't have a lot of albums out, probably because they just don't like recording.
Yes.
And it is true, because you go into a studio and you put down a song and that's it. And there are some live performances where you think, oh, that was just so much better than how I even did it on the CD, you know, and it's just like, you just can't change it. But I love recording. I have a great time, and I've got a fantastic producer in Michael Cristiano, who you may recognise his name. He worked with the Seekers for many, many years,
Yes.
and I also have worked with the Seekers for a very long time and have that affiliation with them. And therefore, on my new album, Duets, Michael and myself, we open the CD with a song written by Judith Durham that she requested that we do as a duet together. And then, unfortunately, she passed away.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But she got to hear the duet, though.
Oh,
so that was really,
that's
really
fantastic.
lovely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Now, I'm going to ask you a random question here this
Oh,
evening.
I love it.
Do you love it? Okay.
I love random questions.
So our theme this evening is reality TV.
This is random.
I have to ask you, if you could be on a reality TV show, what would it be?
Okay. So I had this conversation on the weekend. I would pretend to not be married, and I would 100% go on MAFS.
Oh, my God. Perfect
Oh my God,
timing.
can we go on together? Let's just rig it.
Can we? Because
I'm
I
happy to.
honestly,
Anything for a blue tick.
Oh, the drama. The drama. See, and I'm totally so boring. I'm such a boring person. I would be there to see the drama. I unfold in front of my eyes. I would love it, and I would love to get up close and personal with some of these lips.
I love that.
Oh.
You and Aaron have that in common. He's a big MAFS fan.
He's already packing his bags. He's ready to go. He's writing his audition piece of paper.
I've
He is
written it.
ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Now, you just do yours, and let's go for 2024 MAFS.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
do it.
Don't tell my husband.
Don't tell mine either, Mark. Shh.
We won't tell anybody's husbands, and that's what's going to be coming up next, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for Aaron and Mirusia on MAFS.
Yes.
We'll announce that when it comes out. No. But thank you so much for joining us tonight, Mirusia. It has been a pleasure. We look forward to hopefully coming to see the show on the weekend
Yes.
as well. And for those of you listening at home, the show is on Saturday the 25th of March, which is this coming Saturday at 1:30 p.m. at the Regal Theatre on Kensington Road. And you can get tickets through Try Booking, so just put in Mirusia in Recital. Mirusia in Recital is the show, and you'll be able to find it. Thank you so much for joining us, Mirusia, and best of luck with the show on the weekend.
Thank you. Can't wait to be there.
Thank you. Welcome back. It's been a massive show, and we've lost Aaron.
We've lost Aaron. We've lost Aaron. Listen, he's gotten his offer to go on MAFS with Mirusia, so he's packed his bags and he's headed off and he's gone to go audition for MAFS.
Aaron, we need you to do the show. Oh,
hold
there
on.
he is.
Hold on, here he is. He's back in studio. How'd you go? Why are you back?
She bloody wrote leave. She said I wasn't butch enough for her.
Oh,
That's horrible.
okay. Well, that's old news.
Fine.
Anyway, so moving on. Look, to wrap up our reality TV show, if you haven't listened, go back and listen on the podcast. By the way,
Our
available
reality TV show.
our show on reality TV. To wrap it up, if
gone
you
really well.
want to go listen on the podcast available on all your major podcast platforms. Celeste, reality TV, yay or nay?
I'm a yay for reality TV because I just take it for what it is. It's reality TV. Take it with a pinch of salt. I don't think it's real. It's a bit of a laugh. It's a bit of a good time. Light-hearted, you know? Don't take it too seriously.
I agree, Celeste, because I have to say I'm yay for reality TV. Like, it's entertainment, and back in the day, reality TV was really just, you know, soap operas like Melrose Place or Dynasty and stuff like that. We love the drama of that. Yes, it was scripted, but today it's just, you know, it's just a bit of fun with some real-life people,
All right, Deanna, clearly you're going to have the opposing opinion.
as usual.
I am a nay. I really don't
You are a
like
nay.
reality TV.
Which
I
is
don't
good because
like it.
reality TV probably doesn't like you back, so it's fine.
I mean, like, I'm just all for, like, a compelling movie or a TV show, something that's got actors and actresses and scripts, and call me a little bit old-fashioned,
Or just old.
but I'm an A. There you go.
But I have to say though, with reality TV, we think it's trashy now, right? But I was looking back at some of the old reality TV shows that were out in the early 2000s when reality was pretty much born, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And I've got a couple of examples here of reality shows that would not get made today and they'd be considered quote unquote problematic.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Are you ready for these
ones?
ones?
I'm ready.
They're
Tell
quite
me.
interesting. All right, so the first one, I think I should be on this show. It was called Playing It Straight.
As in, like, playing it
Like how
straight.
Butcher said.
Why do I feel like I remember this? Yeah,
Okay, so one girl has to couple up with 1 out of 10 or 15 guys, half of which are gay. If she picks a straight man, they split the money and ride off into the sunset. If a gay man could convince her they were straight, they'd win all the money.
Get out.
So I'd be so into that. I'd be so butch and, meth-skillin'.
Okay. What else have you got?
All right, and this one definitely wouldn't get made today. So this is the other one I've got. So, okay, this one was called There's Something About Miriam. Do you remember this one?
I remember this. Okay, Miriam, didn't she go on Big Brother? Wasn't she like a big one on Big Brother, like Fitzy's season?
Yes, she did later on. Yes, after this show.
Yes.
So the premise of this reality show...
The Apprentice?
No, it wasn't The Apprentice. The premise of this was... It was a show where 6 guys dated 21-year-old Miriam Rivera. At the very end of the show, Rivera revealed that she was transgender.
Ooh. And we're talking about quite some time ago, I guess, when this wasn't something that reality TV had ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. Or mainstream TV had seen. And the contestants ended up suing for defamation, personal injury, and conspiracy to commit sexual assault, and later settled.
Wow, there you go.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I don't think that one would
And
fly.
you guys want to complain about the Kardashians?
Now, I did ask Mirusia a question before.
Yes.
Which was, if you could go on a reality TV show, what would it be? Now, I've got to ask you girls the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Deanna, I know you're not a reality girl.
No, I'm not. I'm not a reality girl.
But I'm curious if you could go on one. And we're talking also competitions here. It could be The Voice. It could be Australian Idol, X Factor. Not X Factor.
We've been there, done that.
Been there, done
worn
it.
the T-shirt.
Worn
In
the
what
T-shirt.
capacity? Are we talking about as a contestant?
As a contestant.
Okay.
If I could go on any reality TV show.
Yep. Any.
Survivor.
Oh, good choice.
Yes. Yeah, that's probably the only reality TV show in history that I think I've personally thoroughly enjoyed.
But don't they have to kill animals and stuff on there? I don't know if you'd survive.
Well, I just wonder if I could use my activism skills to talk my way out of those challenges so well that they would just, I'd bleed their ears to death and then they'd just let me win.
Well, they'd just die and then you'd just be the last one standing. I get that. That's a good tactic, actually.
I have actually thought about that watching Survivor. I was like, if I was ever on Survivor, I couldn't eat the snails. I wouldn't be able to do it. So I'd have to negotiate an alternative.
Could not do it.
And you'd suck if there was no grass or anything. You'd just be sad. Be a bit grainy anyway. So
I was trying to figure out what you were saying there.
Yeah, you like that one? Celeste, what about you?
Okay, this one's an easy one for me. It has to be the Real Housewives. I'd have to be
Yes.
Real Housewives of Adelaide.
Yes.
I'm a housewife. Well, I'm not a housewife.
You're a home
I am
dad.
a housewife. That is not a stay-at-home housewife. Right, I have a job and I do all that stuff as well. But I feel like I like it. I just think it's funny. I think they're funny. I think they're a good time. I think I would just have a great time.
Yep.
Being on that show, I wouldn't mind, a bit of restaurants, bit of shopping, bit of this, bit of that,
Well, you are a big piss pot, so,
I
would
take
be right up
well
your
and
alley.
truly after you, Aaron. I've spent way too much time with you over the past 15 years.
Good with confrontation. Do you know, okay, so I'm going to tell you mine, and this is going to be...
I thought it was MAFS.
No, actually...
You don't get two.
Well, I got rejected from MAFS now, so hang on, let's talk the second one, all right?
go
Yeah, not
on.
MasterChef, David. No, I'd be terrible. The kitchen would burn down if I was on MasterChef. I can't even cook cereal. So I'll give you mine, and this is a huge shock. RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, yes.
Can you see me
I
doing
didn't
drag?
think that, but now that you've said that, I'm like, yes.
Definitely.
And I have the perfect drag name.
What is it?
Anita Johnson.
You know what? We should actually do drag names in another segment.
Yes.
Because drag names or porn names, they're kind of the same
Porn
thing.
names,
But
yes.
That is another...
That's exactly what
we might
Radio
have to do
Italia
that.
want to...
I reckon we need to do that in another segment. But this has been a fabulous show. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us again for another big week. And of course, if you want to catch the rest of the episode, you can check us out again on the podcast, uploaded pretty much every Friday. Round about
Except
Friday.
for last week.
Except for last week, but that's okay.
Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
it'll be there.
And if you're listening on the podcast and you want to listen live, of course, download the Radio Italia Uno Adelaide app and you can listen live at 5 p.m. Adelaide time every Tuesday. Thank you so much to our special guests for this show. It has been epic. Are we ready for another big week, team?
Well, let's bring it on. We got a big show next week. We've got a big show.
We've got a big show because head to our social media and make sure next Tuesday you remember to wish Celeste a happy birthday. Because it will be her birthday on the day that we are on air.
Live on air, celebrating my birthday with all you beautiful people.
You don't look a day over 39. Now, to all of you out there, have a fabulous week and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, Adelaide. It's your favourite trio, two brunettes and a gay, here to remind you to join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. for your drive home.
Expect the best beats, sassiest segments, and plenty of piping hot tea from the weekly rumour mill. And let's be honest, we know us Italians love a good gossip.
So tune in at 5 p.m. every Tuesday right here on your number one station, Radio Italia Uno, 87.6 FM.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.